Welcome everybody to my YouTube channel, and today we're going to be creating again. And what I think we will do is we'll make a crumb cake, some type of crumb cake today. So I'm going to show you all the recipes and we're going to get started with it right away. So let's just get started. Okay, first of all, these are all the ingredients I have out here. And I'm going to move the ingredients when we put them all together. I'll get them out of the way. I already have them measured out, so you'll have the measurements right on hand. So first of all, what we're going to start with is the flour. Okay, so I'm going to use 1.5 cups of flour, and I'm putting this in as we go. Okay, there's one, and then we want 1/2 cup all-purpose flour. That's what we're using. Okay, and then we're going to use baking powder and baking soda. Actually, I'm using both. We're going to level it off. So we're going to use about 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, we're going to do two teaspoons here. There's one. Okay, there's 2. Okay, and I always add a little baking soda in my crumb cakes as well, just to kind of level it off if I'm adding a lot of other ingredients. Okay, so we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, so let's get that going. We're going to put it in here, just only about 1/2. Okay, put that in there. Okay, and then salt. Of course, you know, you can use a whole teaspoon of salt, and this time around I'm not using the sea salt. I am going to use halfway salt. I'm going to use light salt, and it's 50% less sodium than table salt. Okay, but it's not the sea salt, so it is salt. Okay, so I'm going to use, I already have it out here. I mean, it's your preference. You can use a whole teaspoon of regular salt, but I don't recommend the sea salt, but I recommend this type of salt, which is salt, but it's just light, and it's 50% less of table salt. Okay, so I'm just going to only add 1/4 teaspoon, but it's your preference, you guys. You know, we're creating here, and that's why when you do the recipes and you follow along with me, you know, you can add your own ingredients as we go. Okay, so that's the flour. The salt is in there, the baking soda is in there, and the baking powder's in there. Okay, so what I decided to do, and you can use whatever ingredients you would like to use, but I'm going to, you know, kind of do this because I kind of always put nuts, but you may be allergic to nuts, so if you are, omit the nuts. Don't put nuts in there. What I'm using is 1/2 cup of pecans and also 1/2 cup of walnuts. Both of them. Okay, I'm using them and I mixed them together. And I took like 1/3 cup out of the 1/2 cups out of here because I'm going to put these in the flour. Only some of the nuts in the flour, but like I said, if you can't eat nuts, you can omit it. And another way that I'm going to do with the nuts is I'm going to use it as a topping too, along with the brown sugar. Okay, so that's going to be a topping too, but I, you know, want to have some of these in there too. Okay, so I'm putting that in there, but you don't have to if you're allergic to nuts. Okay, and then we're going to add in golden raisins. I always put golden raisins in my crumb cakes, you know, just to have something when you bite into it, and it's not just plain like a coffee cake. You want it to have something going on in there. Okay, and what we could do is the raisins. So I have 1/2 cup of raisins here, and like I said, it's 1/2 cup each of the nuts. The raisins I'm actually going to put in the flour. Okay, inside the flour, not in the topping. I'm going to put that in the flour. Okay, like I said, your preference though, you guys. We can do this. Okay, and then we're gonna add. Well, we're gonna stir it up a little bit now, just by itself, and cover up those raisins and those little nuts that we put in there. Just cover them up and mix together our flour, our salt, our baking powder, and our baking soda. Just mix it up together like that, okay? And then a cinnamon. Actually, cinnamon goes in the topping, but I'm gonna put a little cinnamon actually in the flour too, to give it a little, little taste there, just a little. And I also use allspice, which I'm gonna put in the topping and in the cinnamon when there too. And I also put this actually in the flour too, and this is allspice. So it's basically like nutmeg. It has the nutmeg flavors. It has all of those flavors, but a flavor of its own too as well. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of that in there. Okay, but it goes in here too. We're going to use it for our topping with our brown sugar. Okay, so mix that together. All right, and now our sugars. We're going to put that in there too as well. We're going to put your sugars in. So I have here about 2/3. No, I have 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, and I use organic sugar, pure cane sugar. I use organic, totally your preference. Okay, but we're going to actually put that in there too. We're going to put that in there. All right, and then we have brown sugar, but we're not going to put the brown sugar in there. Our brown sugar is going to be for our topping. And like I said, I'm adding in some coconut, and this is the coconut that I use. It's unsweetened shredded coconut. It's gluten-free, and it's just natural. It's natural. There's no preservatives, no added sulfites, or nothing. I mean, this is really good, and you won't even be tasting coconut, in the crumb cake. You won't even be tasting it. So we're gonna put not quite 1/3 of a cup, just a little of it in there, about this much right here. We're gonna put that in there, but that's gonna go in the topping. That is gonna go with the brown sugar. So, and then we also vanilla flavor. We're gonna add some of that in there. That's gonna go in with our milk mixture with our egg. Okay, and then I'm also going to put in some fresh ginger. I'm going to use some fresh ginger, and we're going to put it in the mix after we pour the milk in there. Okay, and then also it calls for about 1/4 of a cup of oil. You can use vegetable oil. I mean, you can use your preference, totally your preference. You can use that, but I always use canola oil in most of my foods. It's lighter, lesser fat. It makes cakes more moist. The canola oil does versus the vegetable oil. It does, because it doesn't have any heavy fat, making it where it won't rise. So we're gonna put that in there, but we're gonna put that in the milk. Okay, and then we're gonna use 1 egg. Okay, we're gonna use 1 egg, and this milk that I have here, I have about 1/2 cup of milk. Maybe just, I want to say 1/2 cup, but the way this measuring cup is measured is like a half a cup. But we're putting in a lot of ingredients with the flour, so it might be the 2/3 cup. And if we need more, you can do that. You can stir it along the way if we need some more of it. So let's go ahead and mix our sugar in here. Mix the sugar in here with the flour and the raisins and the nuts, baking powder, baking soda. Okay. And then let's just get this. We can go ahead and put some ginger in there now while it's dry. I think we could put that in there now. So, we're just saying like maybe 1/2 teaspoon, of the ginger. Yeah, I would say something like that. About 1/2 teaspoon. Go ahead and put that in there. Oh, ooh, it smells good. The aroma smells good. The ginger smells good. The ginger that's going to bring a little touch to this right here. And take it up a little notch. All right. So now let's go ahead and do our egg mixture. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. let's go ahead. So we're doing, and also, okay, this is for the topping. I got about 1.5 tablespoons of butter. I use unsalted butter, which is totally your preference. You can use salted, but I'm going to melt this, and that's going to be our topping for these nuts and the coconut, okay, and the brown sugar, okay. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to put our egg in here, okay, and we're also going to put the canola oil in the egg, okay. So we're just mixing this up, okay. Okay, and then we said, like, we're going to use about a fourth of a cup. We're going to use of the oil, of the canola oil, about a fourth of a cup. Okay, get that in there. All right. Now, let's mix it up. All right. I think that's good, guys. Nope. Let's get the vanilla flavor in there. Let's get that in there. Yes, we want to put that in there. We're talking about a teaspoon of the vanilla. Yeah, that's good. About a teaspoon of that we'll put in there. Okay, mix it up a little bit more. Okay, and then we're just gonna pour this into the flour, you know, and basically fold in the nuts. Okay, because the raisins are already in the flour, and just a few of the nuts, some of the nuts. Okay, but we're gonna get our butter going when we come back. We're gonna do that. Okay, so let's just go ahead and add your milk in there, your egg mixture and your milk, stir it in there. And like I said, you may want to put a little more milk, because first of all, it's going to be like a thick mixture. And then what you want to do, but we'll leave it like it is. It looks like it's good. Okay, this is what it's looking like, guys. You see that? That's thick. That's what it's looking like. So what you want to do is you get your pan, and you do want to spray a non-stick spray on your pan. Even though we have the canola oil in the mixture, you still want to do that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, put it in our pan, and when we come back, we're going to make our mixture for the topping. Okay, so let's get this in the pan right now. Let's get it in there. All right, here we go. All right, here we go, guys. See? All about creating, okay? That's why I would love to hear from you all. To tell me, you know, if you're making these recipes that we prepare. It might be a little hard, maybe, for you to find me or on the YouTube. But like I said, I'm basically informing everybody, you know, how to, you know, to reach me for these channels, for the channel. Okay, so here we have it in here. Okay, so we're going to put it in a 375 degree oven for about 25 minutes. So when we come back, we're going to have our butter melted, and we're going to make our little mixture to put the topping on. Okay, so stay tuned.